Hi, I'm Jules from Jules Pilates in Madison, Wisconsin. I teach both private lessons and group classes, Pilates and Coraline. A lot of times my clients will come to class and they'll have a great lesson, they'll feel good in their body, and then they have a question for me after class. They'll go, what do I do when I go home? So in between your Pilates lessons and the next time you come to class is a good time to practice some of the fundamental movements or some of the movement sequences that'll help your body remember all the good things that you did learn. So I've created a series of videos. Some of them are geared towards movement patterns, and some of them are geared towards little massage and release patterns. When you decide to have a little home practice for 5 or minutes or a half an hour, you're going to really need to think about the space around you. So you want to have some place that has enough room to move your arms and your legs in a way that you're not knocking into the kitchen counter or the ottoman or the guest bed, and that you can roll your body down and up or stretch your legs fully out, come to fully to standing. I am standing on 2 layered mats on top of a harder surface. That works for me. If you have a carpet, you might like to have just 1 mat over it to make it a little less cushy. But if we're doing moves where you're lying on your back, you don't want to hurt your back, you don't want to hurt your joints, you don't want to hurt your wrists or your ankles or your tailbone. So make sure that, give it a test run before you really get into it, and make sure that your surface is comfortable for you. Now on to the video. So this is what to do at home warm-up sequence. You can use this sequence to warm your body up for other Pilates moves that you're about to do. You can do this in isolation as a morning wake up or before you go to bed. You can throw this into the middle of any exercises you are doing, whether they're Pilates or other routines and physical therapy. This should be fine, so long as you're cleared by your physical therapist and doctor. So let's begin by sitting with your legs ahead. And you're going to let your toes aim to the ceiling, and you're going to take your posture as upright as you can. And then as you exhale, you're going to take that posture forward, just leaning, folding at the hips. So I'm not trying to round my back. Inhale, come back to sitting straight up and down, and then a micro lean backwards, not rounding the spine, lifting the head towards the top of the ceiling and back to center. We're going to do that one more time. Forward, exhale, inhale, back to sitting straight up, shoulders over pelvis, exhale, leaning, and inhale back. Now you're going to relax your neck to let your chin drop down. Keep the breath flowing, and you're going to let your hands slide forward on the legs. The spine is going forward into a comfortable position. So if you just woke up, maybe you're not sliding forward as far as you could go later in the day. It doesn't matter. In this position, nod your head yes, turn the chin no. Take a circle with the nose, twice one direction and twice the other direction. Take an exhale to let the shoulders relax. Then as you inhale, start rolling up. Keep the breath flowing. Lifting all the way back up to your straight up and down position. You're going to take your hands behind you and lift the heart to the ceiling. Please don't let your head collapse backwards. That is dangerous for the blood vessels and for the neck. And then come back up to seated. We're going to take a gentle rotation. Turn to the side. You can turn your neck as far as is comfortable for your back. Then inhale back to center. Then over to the other side. Exhale, inhale back. One more time each way. And with my hands, I'm supporting my spine. I'm not yanking my body around. Let yourself feel broad across the shoulders and keep your hips in place. Back to center. Side bend. So now the spine is going to tilt sideways in a curve. Bring one arm up And exhale, support the body with the other hand. Note that I'm bending the elbow on the side I'm tilting towards. As you inhale, lift yourself back up. And exhale over to the other side. Inhale, lifting tall. One more each way. Exhale to the side. Inhale up. And last time, exhale to the side. Coming back to center, and we're going to point through the tips of the toes, and then pull your toes back and flex at the ankles. I'll turn a little bit sideways so you can see that. Point through the tips of the toes, then pull the toes back and flex at the ankles. And let's do that 4 or 5 times. Try to keep sitting up as tall as you can in the moment. And then when you get back to a flexed ankle position, we're going to circle the ankles around 4 or 5 or 20, and then reverse. The more ankle circles, the better, so long as you're not feeling tired or strained. All right. And after you've done a few of those, then we're going to come to lying down on our backs. So your feet are going to be on the floor, your knees are going to be bent to the ceiling, and your spine is going to be down on the floor. You should feel like this is a pretty familiar position for you. Before you go any further, since this is a warm-up, just feel what you feel from hips to shoulders to the back of the head. Note what the weight of that feels like. Maybe you feel like you're leaning to one side or not. Try to even that out, but just take a breath or two, observing what you feel. Starting with the pelvis. As you inhale, you're going to tuck your tailbone and push the low back towards the floor. And as you exhale, you're going to release back to that starting neutral position you were in. Inhale, tuck the tailbone, feel the tailbone pull up towards the back of the knees. And exhale, release back to your starting neutral position. 2 more times, breathing and rocking the pelvis. 1 more time, breathing and releasing back to your start. Now moving from one hip socket at a time. As you inhale, marching the knee up right in the middle of the socket. Exhale, put the foot back on the floor and trading sides. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. 2 more, inhale up, exhale down. 1 more time, inhale up. And now let's mobilize the arms. As you inhale, bring both arms up to the ceiling, palms facing towards the knees. Exhale, take the arms over the top of the shoulders. Try not to shrug your shoulders. Try not to lift the rib cage. Inhale, up to the ceiling. Exhale, feel broad across the shoulders as the arms release. 1 more time, both arms moving at the same time. Keep the breath full. Good, and then bring both arms back again up to the ceiling. Turn the palms towards each other. The back of the arm bone is going to push on both sides is going to push the arms up to the ceiling, and then the back of the arm bone is going to release to the floor. So as you go up in your puppet arm here, you're going to feel rounded through the chest, and as you exhale, you're going to feel like you're broadening across the front of the shoulders, and the shoulder blades will hopefully lie fairly flat on the floor. 1 more time, inhaling up, exhaling down, trying to keep the rest of the body steady. Scissor arms for 4. 1 arm over the top of the shoulder, the other down beside the hips. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale to reach into your scissor. Exhale to the ceiling. Inhale, reach into the scissor. Exhale to the ceiling. 1 more time, reach into the scissor. And then when the arms are up, turn the fingertips towards each other with the elbows bent. As you inhale, sweep the arms open to the side. As you exhale, curl your fingers, your wrists, and the elbows and bring the fingertips together. 2 more of those. Breathing in as you stretch open. Exhale as the arms come together. And last one, open and curl. And then you're going to take your bent elbows and slide your hands behind the base of the skull. You can interlace your hands behind the base of the skull. My thumbs are wrapped around that low line of my cranium or the occipital lobes. As you inhale, lightly engage your abdominals. As you exhale, start from the top of the spine. Turn the chin to the chest. And then curl towards your legs. And roll the spine up just to the low edge of the shoulder blades. Start to hover off the floor. And I'm looking at my legs. As I inhale, lengthen back up. That's your upper curl. I kind of pulled my elbows up too high there, so leave your elbows just slightly forward of the shoulders as you exhale. Turn the chin to the chest, tighten the tummy more, just to the shoulder blades more. Then inhale, feel like you're smoothing the front of the spine down, but with control till you're all the way back to your neutral spine. 2 more times. Exhale, curl. Oh, you're shaking. Inhale down. Woohoo! See, even a warm-up can be work. Exhale, curl, and inhale down. Once you're down from your 4th or 5th one, let your head relax. Take your arms long beside you on the floor, focusing on the lower end of the spine. So we rolled up there to the low edge of the shoulder blades. Now we're going to roll the low end of the spine from the tailbone to, again, the low edge of the shoulder blades. Make sure your feet aren't right up close to your tush. Make sure they're not offset. They're in line with each other. Then start with that tailbone tuck. Push your low back into the floor. Keep the pelvis tucked. Push your feet down, push your arms down, and roll the spine up sequentially from the low end of the vertebrae to where the low edge of the shoulder blades are. And as you exhale, reverse. You're lowering from the upper spinal vertebrae, spinal, however you say that, and then roll down. Roll down till your hips are neutral. Excellent. Tuck the tailbone, push the low back into the floor. Inhale, rolling up. Feel like you're pulling up towards your knees like an escalator going up, and then rolling down. See if you can feel each of those joints replacing. I think we should do one more and add a challenge. Rolling up, holding up at the top of your range of motion. Make sure your shoulders aren't collapsing forward or up. Push your arms lightly down. And we're going to inhale, march one knee back up. Exhale down. You have 3 more. Try to keep minimal movement through the torso, through the body. As little swaying around, as little rocking to side as you can. Let's do 2 more. So for you, 4 to 6. And then come all the way down, again, by rolling the spine down from the top to the bottom. And when the pelvis comes down, bring your knees up into your hands. Circle your hands around on your knees to warm up the ligaments and the tissues there. You can even rub across the back of the knees a little bit. Then hold your hands steady and use your arms to circle the knees 3 times around and 3 times the other way. So now I am rocking on my hips and my spine for a little release through those muscles. Okay, one more thing before we get going with more energetic part of your workout or the rest of your day. We're going to do a stretch for the upper back. So if you have glasses, you might like to set them aside. Take your hands and layer them on your floor or mat and put your forehead on top of that. Okay, from this position, I want you to tighten your tummy muscles. And then as you inhale, leave your arms on the floor. Lift your eyes, nose, chin, and sternum. Baby swan. I'm also having the feeling that I'm pulling my arms towards me so I can activate the muscles underneath my arms. And then exhale. Again, feel like you're lengthening the upper back as you lower back down. 1 bone at a time. Start from the top of the head. Take a breath in. Hold your belly muscles in. Widen through the shoulders. And exhale, stretching the spine longer as you come back down. 2 more baby swans. Arms stay on the floor. There's an alternative arm position if this hurts your shoulders, and I'll do one with that. The arms just come out of the way, but I still can use them to feel like I'm pulling my spine forward. Very good.
Take your hands beside your rib cage, tighten your tummy muscles the most that you can so that when you lift up, your chest and your belly come off the floor at the same time, and then help yourself back to a child's pose. Come to hands and knees position, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and 2 rounds of cats and cows. Let's start today from the low end of the spine, that tailbone tuck we've been working on. Let the top of the head go last. Then flip the booty the other way, sliding into a nice long sway. Broaden your shoulders, let the front of your chin stretch. Tuck the tailbone, round the low back, the mid back, the upper back, the top of the head drops. Then flip the tailbone the other way. And excellent. Back to neutral. And then you're on to either more of your exercises or perhaps time for that cup of tea.